We're in this series called Standing Strong. We've been in it all year so far, and for a few more weeks to come. It's inspired by Ephesians 6 verse 10 that says this: be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Strong. And little did we know that as we go through this year, the various different things that are taking place in and around your lives, in and around the nation, in and around the world, there's never been a more clear message that God's people have this beautiful gift that we can be the ones that stand strong in the midst of all that is going on. And so for those who've not been here, you can go online, you can look at all the previous week's messages, you can watch them, you can listen to them to be reminded. So this is continuing the journey. Today we're up to verse 16 of Ephesians 6, but here's the theme. Why do we need to be strong in the Lord and put on the armor of God? Because we are in a war. Revelation 12 says that there was war in heaven. Satan has a battle with the archangels and he is defeated, but he is thrown to the earth. And it says at the end of that chapter that he then goes off to make war against all those who are followers of Jesus. It's declared, we can see it and we experience it. We live in two realms, the seen realm and the unseen realm. That's true. We really do. If you didn't know that, hello, you're now exposed to it. We live in two realms, the seen realm, the earthly, the physical, and an unseen realm, a spiritual. So much of what we experience in the physical has a spiritual DNA to it, and vice versa. And so we live in our lives with these two things. We either live in a way that brings heaven down or hell up. How we live our lives, what we do and declare and what we stand on is either bringing heaven down or hell up. We need to live our lives, those of you who are followers of Jesus already, with a biblical worldview that is binary thinking. Because the opposition to that in the spiritual world is everything needs to be leveled out. Binary thinking, clearly this: truth, there is truth, and there is lies. There is an accuser, and there is an assurer. There is hell, there is heaven, there is darkness, there is light, there is pride, there is humility, there is male, there is female, there is all these, there is a binary thinking that is clearly defined throughout all creation that we need to hold on to, but in the Western world there is a leveling out of that, where everything has to become whatever you think. And that clearly is evidence there is an unseen realm impacting this. Let's level it all out. Whatever's your truth is your truth, and my truth is my truth, and whatever you think and whatever you feel and whatever you feel, and all of those things are there, and look how that's going, people. The reality is there is a clear biblical worldview of truth and lies, light and darkness. And so here we are so far. Let me turn to Ephesians chapter 6. Those of you who, again, unfamiliar with the Bible, then there's these books of the Bible that were written to cities in the Mediterranean basin. They were written to them. They were brand new churches. Jesus has lived his life on earth. He has been taken to the cross. He has been killed, but he has risen. He has ascended into heaven. And then the church starts to form, and it advances all over initially in that Middle East, going to that Mediterranean area. And one such city is Ephesus in modern-day Turkey. And there is this church that forms. And this is a letter written by the Apostle Paul to this church with, hey, here's some things that you need to know, inspired by God to live life. Ephesians 6 verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you've done everything, to stand. Stand firm then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. And here we go with today. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. The progression's beautiful. You get this belt, everything's there, a breastplate. Then last week, your feet, you're ready. I'm ready, Lord. I'm ready to be obedient. I'm ready. So we've got this body kind of ready. But that's not enough to go into battle with, is it? This is not unarmed combat. We need something else. And so he then says, with all that in mind, you've got that truth locked in, Jesus, a breastplate of righteousness, the righteousness of God in there. Your feet are fitted with this readiness. Yes, God, because of you and your peace, I'm ready. And he says, now, what's in your hand? Last week, are you ready? This week, what's in your hand? What's in your hand as you go about life? He says, take up a shield of faith. This message is going to be probably at least 2 weeks. I got through about 75% at 8:30, so you guys have no chance of me getting through it all. And let me just start by saying this. Just this text alone is so loaded that if we really understand what it is we're taking up, it's very, very, very significant. Very significant. So we're to take up the shield. What's the shield? Well, it's a shield of faith. Well, what's that, really? And then it says the purpose of it is to extinguish the flaming arrows of the evil one. What's that, really? What is that? How does that affect me? And then how do I then use this shield that I take up? How do I use it in combat? That's its purpose. How do I use it individually? But more importantly, it is clearly implied, how do we use this shield collectively? That's important. We in the West read our Bible, it's all about me. It's just me and Jesus. Everything's me and Jesus. You're wrong. It was never given to individuals. It was written to groups, communities, churches. Everything written is implied collectively. So the purpose of the shield is not just to protect you. It's more than just you. We're going to lean into that, especially next week. I'm going to dive in with what does it look like when we're being attacked and it causes disunity and division, not just in the church, in your lives, because it's an attack of the enemy. We'll dive in next week. Let's not go there now. The shield. Let's look at the shield. Those of you who've been in church for many years are thinking, Des, tell me something I don't already know. I understand, but if you know it all, why can't we see it? So the shield. This particular shield, in those days, there were different kinds of shield depending on the combat we were about to go into. Those of you who've seen some more ancient history movies, you'll see different shapes of shields and different sizes. Depending on the battle they were engaging, you took the appropriate style of shield. This particular shield at this particular moment is clearly one type of shield that a Roman would probably have, and that's this. It's about 4 feet in height. It's curved, about 2.5 feet wide, so that you could crouch behind it and it would cover you. But not just you on your own, but it's there. It was a really almost a full-body shield that you could get behind, and it was curved that you could provide protection with. Now, the shield itself was a double-layer wood that was made, a double-layer wood, and they would have put a canvas on the outside of it to hold it together, and then cover it with a leather on the outside. A leather would be there, and they would hold it in place. And then depending on the battle, because clearly in this particular occasion, the shield is there to protect you from spears and arrows thrown at you, but they realized that sometimes those arrows would be on fire. They would have an explosive thing that I'll get to in a moment. So when they are raining down on you, they would often, if they knew that was the potential in battle, they would soak the shields in water. They would soak them in that, okay? So they would soak them so the leather would absorb it and they would be heavier but stronger, so that when the flaming arrow came, it would also be able to extinguish it, because what they would do is the arrows would be thrown they'd be fired, and they did a design in such a way that a flammable liquid will be in the arrowhead. It's on fire, so when it impacted and it broke, the liquid would leak and the flames would go even further. It's before gunpowder was invented, but wow, mankind was very creative with its aggression, okay? And so the purpose of the shield, it needed to be able to extinguish that. If it was just wood, wood and fire, they're friends. So that was the idea. So the canvas and the leather, it will be able to extinguish. So imagine this. You've got this curved shield, 4 feet by 2.5, okay? Now, that isn't a shield that you took in on one-on-one combat. It's too big, too heavy. The purpose of this shield was collective. So here you have the row of soldiers with the shield at the very front, and they would go down, impenetrable. Then the next rows would hold them above. So from above, a shield, protection. And the side people would do the same. They literally were almost like an armored vehicle when advancing. We're going to march forward. The enemy is firing at us, but we're ready because we need to advance. There comes a time where you hold the ground, you protect from the firing arrows. So they're advancing, and all of a sudden they look up and they go, "Here they come!" And the guys would all, boom, take the position. They all fall. We're all good. Let's go again. Incredible. And so if you are doing this life following Jesus on your own, you're an idiot. Because if there's 100 flaming arrows coming my way, and it's not just about me protecting me, it's about the we. And we'll lean into that towards the end this morning. What's the purpose of a shield? There's its protection. The purpose of this shield is not just protection, it's about advancing. It's protecting me from, but behind the shield, I can move forward. I can move forward behind the shield. It's not just I stop and stand still and just go, when the storm's over, I'll be okay. There's a moving forward that the shield of faith enables you to do. Quickly, then it says the flaming arrows of the evil one. The flaming arrows of the evil one. You've seen the movies, there's literally the arrows and they're on fire, they come and they hit you. And the purpose of the flaming one was to create not just the impact, but cause fire. Cause other things to happen. Sometimes in wars, what they would do, there'd be a big wall of a city, and they want to penetrate the wall. So they wouldn't just shoot arrows over the wall, they'd shoot the flaming arrows over the wall to start fires. And the reason they wanted to start the fires wasn't to burn the city down. The reason was to start the fire so that the people behind the wall would be distracted and have to put the fires out. And while they're busy putting out the fires, the enemy's attacking from another front. Let me talk about your life right now. I know you thought I already was. One of the strategies of the enemy is to get you focused in on small fires and put those fires out, and in the meantime, he's taking territory elsewhere. If all we do is fight fires all the time and not advance the kingdom, that's the enemy's strategy. He wants you to stop moving forward. He wants you to stop advancing. He wants to take your eyes off his mission and get you focused in on other things that are causing trouble. And by doing so, it makes you impotent. There's a strategy there. That's why we need the shield of faith to extinguish these flaming arrows. We look through church history, we can even go 21st century Western church history and look at the word division. And this is what happens. The enemy goes, there's a flaming arrow, there's a fire, bit of division, bit of disunity. Let's spend all of our time fighting this fire. Oh, and another one, and another one, and another one, and the church doesn't advance anywhere and isn't piercing the darkness. Because the enemy's got all of our attention on our little fires. And we've seen it, and some of us have been in it and experienced it and gone, how did that happen? When did we stop holding up our shields together and advancing the kingdom? It's when we started to focus on these other small fires. Leaders, you'll know this. Maybe you're in business. For me, this is a reality. I spend exponentially a ridiculous amount of time fighting fires. You maybe do as well, don't you? You spend an exponentially ridiculous amount of time fighting fires. And then you sit back and you go, wow, look how far we've not gone. Because I've spent all the time fighting fires. We'll lean into that a little bit more next week, but maybe in your relationships, you've experienced something. We're trying to move forward, and all of a sudden, another little fire to sort out, and another little one, and another little one. Has it ever crossed your mind that this is spiritual warfare we're dealing with? And the enemy's strategy is to prevent you from moving on. So no wonder he causes these. That's why we need the shield of faith to extinguish them. And sometimes in an army, somebody drops their guard. Isn't it interesting we have this language in our lives that something happens and you go, oh, I dropped my guard. I wasn't quite ready. He caught me when I wasn't ready. They just got in and, I let my guard down. Interesting language, isn't it? There's just something that is very combat language even in life. They just said that thing and I wasn't composed enough and I reacted and they caught me at my blind side. Another one. Didn't see it coming. Oh, it was so sneaky. And I blew it again. I reacted in that way. It was like, no. Or is that just me? It happens, doesn't it? That mindset. So there is a daily, come on now. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. So the flaming arrows, what does it look like in reality? Because these are the flaming arrows of the evil one. The word temptation is a massive word we could do a whole series on. But temptation is one of the flaming arrows of the evil one. He throws the thing. His thing isn't that one problem. He wants to cause trouble, spread the flames wider. And so he tempts. So let me just give you a moment. Where's your weak spot? What is it that causes you to be distracted, derailed? Is it something you look at, something you're reading, something you're watching, something you listen to, something you eat, something you consume? Is it a language? Is it an attitude? Is it a heart? Is it a pride issue? Is it a self-centeredness issue? Is it the words of other people that you cannot seem to shake? Is it fear? Fear can be a temptation because what it does is it causes you to move your trust away from the one you can trust in. Is it chaos? Is it discouragement? It's a flaming arrow. It immobilizes you. Despair. Is it a previous past experience that you're being reminded of and the enemy's sending it and keeps you there? Maybe it's a regret, a pain, a previous defeat that causes you not to believe there is victory. Don't forget, the one shooting the arrows is an accuser, a deceiver, a liar. He wants to cause division. He wants to present false hope, fake promises. He wants to isolate you and not bring unity. Just a brief one. If you're at college age or young adult today, there's a lunch today that's taking place in someone's home, and if you're not connected and you're trying to follow Jesus on your own, then there's a layup. Free food? Come on now, what's that about? There's some great people. So if you're there, you don't know about it, you want to know more information, then some of the guys who are going to be going, who's going to that lunch today? Okay, can you see there's some hands down here? So if you don't know, you kind of like come like afterwards, just head down here. Where is it? And they'll give you an address, maybe give you a ride. Connection's important. Community is important in lots of different ways. There you go. That was freebie. All right. Those are coming at you and they're real. Let me explain this. Flaming arrows are real. They're real. And at times, you look outside and all you can see is them all flying. They're flying from every single angle, and you're fearful that one's going to get you in the back. They're just flying, and they're there all the time. Hello, Revelation 12 told us why. But then the Lord doesn't leave us there and said, oh, sorry about that. He says, get ready. You've got your readiness now. Take up this shield. Now, what's it a shield of? It's a shield of faith. Now, let me ask you a question. I wonder, don't put your hand up. I wonder how many of you can say you've looked at these recent weeks and you know what, thought, I feel like I'm under attack. Like it seems to be so many different things. I feel under attack financially, physically, relationally, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. There's these things going on. You just don't feel super strong. It's like, wow, this is relentless. Where did all that come from? Some of it's your bad decisions, but some of it's from nowhere. You feel under attack. I'm not telling you to live in denial of that. That's true. But how are you standing under that attack? Do you have a mindset that this is really interesting? Imagine if I was to shoot flaming arrows all over you right now. This is what your physical posture is going to do. You're going to go, whoa. You're going to cower. You're going to cower because I've presented you with a very fearful situation. You're going to cower. That cower posture as an instinct is very, very powerful. When you've been hit by an arrow once before, you brace yourself. You brace yourself. You often see people who have been verbally abused, when they feel it's coming again, literally sit in a corner and curl up into a ball, as if someone's going to physically hurt them. You see it with animals. When an animal's been abused, you see an animal in a corner curling and shaking, bracing itself for more pain. We can cower. So when the enemy shoots his arrows, your instinct may be to cower, inflame the fear. It's going to get really, really bad, and chaos and fear, and your instinct is just survive. Your instinct is purely I just have to protect and preserve. But the scripture is saying you don't need to live that way, and I don't want you to live that way. So rather than cower in fear, take up the shield of faith. He's providing for you the reality of this onslaught. But too often we still take the cower posture and not the faith posture. What does that look like? Faith. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's a shield of faith. Faith is important to know what is the object of your faith. We can't just go, I have faith. People have got faith in all kinds of things. They put their faith, they may not use the word faith, but they entrust themselves to something. Maybe all their hope and all their faith is in, fill in the blank. This isn't just faith per se, it's just any kind of faith. It's all about, but what is the object of your faith? Who is your faith in? That's very, very important. Let me say this. I've said it before. Faith is not believing in God. Faith is believing God. That word in needs to be taken out. Let me just explain this to you. This is really important. You can believe in God, but not take up the shield of faith. You can believe all that who God is and what he has, but still be cowering. You can believe, but so what? Faith is the activation of that belief. Clearly, faith has got everything to do with how you live, how you respond, what you do. That's why the shield of faith is not just protection, it's advancement. And so faith's not believing in God, it's believing God. Let me give you some scriptures. The references are on screen. I can probably share them with you. So James 2, verse 19. Let me define this for you. James 2:19 says this. James is the brother of Jesus, and he says, okay, guys, this believing in God thing, this faith thing, let me just define it for you. He said, you believe in one God. Good. It even has an exclamation point about the good. It says, you believe in one God, period. Good. Then he carries on. Even the demons believe that and shudder. The demonic, the oppressive, the darkness believes there is Jesus, who is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the reigner and the ruler. They know he's real. They know he's very, very true. They believe in him. You believe in one God. Good. Big deal. So what? Even demons believe that. Faith is the activation of that. Your shield has to be take it up. Take it up. There's a real active nature to this, not just passive. Hebrews 4 says this. I know it's a little bit. Hebrews 11:6, great verse. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. That's clearly got everything to do with a posture and how I'm living my life. Am I walking by faith? There you go. It doesn't stay do nothing by faith. We walk by faith, not by sight. It's active. And without faith, it's impossible to please God. Hebrews 4, verse 2. This is another one. It's really, really important. Hebrews 4:2. For we also have had the gospel preached to us, just as they did. But the message they heard was of no value to them because those who heard did not combine it with faith. You can hear it, but there's an activation of it. That's the taking up of the shield of faith. Believing in God means trust and obedience. This is happening, Lord. These arrows are coming at me. He says, come on now, take up this shield of faith. It's actively trusting. I need to dive in more next week, but I had a little bit of a course correction I'm going to lean into now. If you've got a Bible or it's on your Bible app, turn to Psalm 18. This tweak happened at about 5:30 this morning. I was going to quote Psalm 18, verse 1 through 3, and then I just felt like carrying on reading through the rest of the psalm. There's 50 verses in Psalm 18. And I'm listening, and I've got my music on in my ears, and I'm listening. There's some worship songs, and different things are coming on. And as I'm reading this, I got to about verse 28, which I'm going to read as well today through 30. I just went, this is the shield. I felt like I'm taking something up. I was like, come on. So, course correction, that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to read from Psalm 18 in a moment. But this shield of faith. My trust is not in my belief. My trust is in the one in whom I believe. Believe in God. He is my shield. He is my refuge. He is my strength. He is the one in whom I do not fear. It's all him. So what am I taking up? It isn't the size of your shield. It's the size of your God. So, look at your circumstances right now. Look at your situation. Maybe there's arrows flying. It's true. It's real. But also, you need to look at the promises of God and who he is. So when you see your circumstances, here's your choice. Look at them, dwell on them, and cower, or look at them and say, what do I do about it? I'm going to take up the shield of faith, which is his promises, and march forward with that. So when you're in the battle, what do? You still choose. Cower or take up the shield. There's a choice. You need to be very aware of your own weaknesses. And your blind spots are called blind because you can't see them. That's why you have to have others protecting you. But you need to know that you see your weaknesses, but you focus in God's strength. And when you're in the weak situation, you have to run to the strength of God. Take up the shield of faith. The options are all there as we engage in battle. Psalm 18. I'm going to read the first 3 verses, then I'll jump to verse 28 to 36 because of time. What I'm doing right now is this is a method that you can take on board to how do I take up the shield of faith? When these arrows are flying at me, what do? You made a declaration. By faith, trusting in God, I advance because this is the nature of my God. Here we go, Psalm 18. I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock in whom I take refuge. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. What that literally means is the horn of my salvation is my salvation. Enemy, who I am is because by grace, my King gave his life for me. I declare by salvation, I play a fanfare, I play a tune that says, the horn of my salvation is him. I declare it. Yeah, I know I'm not good enough. I know I'm a loser at times. But my King says I am his son. I am his child. Therefore, I have to declare it. You play a tune. I call to the Lord who is worthy of praise, and I am saved from my enemies. Jump to verse 28. You, O Lord, keep my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light. With your help, I can advance against a troop. With my God, I can scale a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is flawless. He is a shield for all who take refuge in him. Where are you taking refuge? In him. I run to him. It's not an absence of a storm or an absence of a war. But I have refuge and I have strength when I take up the shield of faith. For who is God besides the Lord? And who is the rock except our God? It is God who arms me with strength and makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to stand on the heights. He trains my hands for battle. My arms can bend a bow of bronze. I wish they physically really could. That'd be cool. It's in the spiritual. My wife's arms definitely can bend a bow of bronze. I know that. Check out. Anyway, moving on. Here we go. Verse 35. You give me your shield of victory. Say what? We suddenly have a name for our shield of faith. Oh, victory. So when the enemy's shooting at me, you're reminding him of his future. Hello, this is the already won. There is victory. You're going behind victory, not your strength, not your skill, not your genius. Faith is not how much you know the Bible, or how much you know about the Bible, or how much you know about somebody else's faith. Faith is the active, seeing God, knowing God, trusting God, believing in God. It may look foolish, but God, you said, so therefore I will. That is active. It's not about a cerebral thing on its own. It's the activation of what you know. Moving on, nearly finished. So you give me your shield of victory, and your right hand sustains me. You stoop down to make me great. Hello? I've seen this verse so many times, and when I read it this morning, I went, that doesn't seem right. What? God, the ultimate in greatness, stoops down. And he says, Des, behind my shield of faith, you are awesome. How does stoops down to make me great? I thought it wasn't about me, Jesus. So it's not about you. But if you're in me, what is in you? He that is in me is greater than he that is in the world. So when he's talking about making great, it's about you going about life with the flaming arrows in the evil one and going, oh, it's not about Des great. My God is great. He stoops down He stoops down to make me great. You broaden the path beneath me so that my ankles do not turn. When you roll an ankle, oh, it hurts, yeah? Some of you may be stumbling around at the moment. The flaming arrows are coming at you and you're dodging so much and you're just trying to survive and hang in there. And God says, I know. That's why I wanted you to be part of my family. I want you to pick up your shield of faith and trust me and move forward. But you need to do it collectively. It's really important to do that. And when you choose faith over fear, my power is activated. When you choose faith over fear. So the Lord says to you this morning, what's in your hand? What's in your hand? Take up the shield of faith. It implies you don't do it alone. I'll lean into it next week. So this is how I want us to draw forward today. For some of you today, you need to activate your faith. Stop believing in God and believe God. Trust him. Really trust him. The act of surrender is so empowering. It feels the odd way around, but it's the right way. The path of greatness is humility. That's why our humble posture, God stoops down. And so for some of you today, a declaration of, okay, I need to take up a shield of faith and trust you, God. And trust you, God. For many of you, though, I recognize you're under attack. Some of you are pretty fearful at the moment. Situations going on in your own personal life, in and around the world. What the world always needs is they're looking for a people who will be strong in the middle of a storm. Looking for a people whose faith is, now that's what I need. How amazing would it be to be in the middle of crisis and situation and people go, how do you do that? Where'd you get one of those from? Where'd you get one of those? Like all this is going on, yet something seems strong there. How'd you get one of those? I'm like, isn't that how it should be? Isn't that how it should be? Shouldn't the church be that? The body of Christ be that strong nature in the middle of crisis? How are you going to do that? How are we going to be that? The whole march together thing is all about together. Some of you are not engaging in serving in the body right now, and I'm going to say to you right now, it's the enemy telling you not to. Because you need to know you were saved and called to his purpose. It's like literally you signed up to join the US Marines and stayed at home. No, you didn't sign up then. It was just a piece of paper. You were believing in God. You weren't believing God. It's an activation that's so important. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask the ushers to come and serve the elements. I'm very aware right now with the whole COVID-19 going on, and some of you are concerned. We've increased the hand sanitizers all around outside, as you can see. We understand that. We want responsibility. It's all good. You need to know every single week, always has been, these elements, the trays are always thoroughly cleaned. The guys who set them up and girls wear gloves. Everything's, just so you know. So I want to put your, but at the same time, if you still feel you're an at-risk person, please feel free to let the elements pass you by. The cups are totally and utterly there for you to take if you wish. Don't feel we have to be all religious about it and, oh, the Lord won't bless me this week because I felt, it's okay. Let them pass you by. It's all right. I get it. Okay? It's really bigger picture here. It's all right. And so we're monitoring things week on week, but it's all right. So if you feel you just, that's okay. It's really okay. All right? So this is what we're going to do. Just take the elements. Just for those of you who are followers of Jesus, this is totally open for you. You see, when we take up the shield of faith, we're declaring to the flaming arrows of the evil one, you thought you defeated my king. You thought his body was broken and it was over. But he's the bread of life, and the best was yet to come. And his defeat became my victory. And his blood was shed. And you thought there was no life left in him. The very life-bringing blood that is blood is life-bringing. But you see, his blood being shed was the supreme sacrifice for all of my sins. It was the payment for the separation that I had before God, past, present, future. So you thought there was a defeat is now a victory. So I partake today, Satan, in a victory meal. I partake in a celebration that my God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. I partake in that. And that fuels my faith, and it reminds me that I can go about my today with all that's going on and take up a shield of faith, because the shield of faith has a name on it, and his name is Jesus. And I go about these situations in Jesus' name, advancing the kingdom of Jesus in Jesus' name. And so whenever you're ready, go ahead and take those elements and thank him. But know that this is the pathway that when the flaming arrows of the evil one come, you lift up, but my Jesus, my King. Lord, I want to receive and be reminded of the power of your salvation by grace. I receive it by faith. And may my life be one where I believe God, not just believing in God. I believe God. I'm going to trust him with my everything. I'm going to invite the musicians up. And here's something I really want to lean into today. I know that some of you right now feel under attack. I'm like, yeah, but there's these arrows, like some of them are just relentless. And I know for some of you that's your relationship life. Just feels like another one hit. We're trying to get, it's just hurt and hurt and hurt. For some of you, there's some real struggles in your workplace, and it feels like you're under attack. For some of you, there is a fear abounding, and maybe world situations grip you. And you're trying to be composed, but you feel like, and there's just a fear and not faith. There's a what if, this could happen, as opposed to, but who have you called me to be? I get it, it's real. And so together in community, some of you are feeling that weakness and those arrows are hitting, but you need together to have other people help you pick up your shield of faith, and they pick theirs up as well. And so during this last song, and this was powerful at 8:30, some of you right now who feel under attack, you just know this is what it is. You need to stand up, believe in God, come down the front, have some of our prayer team and leaders come alongside you. They literally will come up and bring their shield and help you to pick up your shield and stand and go, let's pray against this right now. Let's pray for you. That is a warfare that's important. Don't forget, everybody, March 19th, a week from Thursday, all of you, across the lawn there, 6:30, our prayer gathering. It's going to be praise and prayer. It's going to be breakthrough and war. We're all going to be there. I told you, if you've got a surgery, you're the only ones excused. Okay? And the rest of it's really important. But I can't talk about you're under siege and go, now work it out. It operates as a body. So come out during this song. Come out during this song. What's so powerful about, I really like this song about is yes, I will. Lyrics say this, I count on one thing, the same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now. In the waiting, the same God who's never late is working all things out. And yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. That's faith. And yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy. All my days, yes, I will. So let's all stand. And if you're feeling under attack today, you don't have to be alone in this. You should not be alone in this. Come down front. Let us pray with you. Whatever that situation is, come down front. Let's lift up the shield of faith and let's advance forward and let's remind Satan as we sing these songs, whatever is going on, Lord, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Believe in God. Believe in God. Yes, I will. You all good? Tracking with this? All right? So during this song, come on down. Awesome. As you leave today, if you've not got the app for Grace app, go on your app first of all, sign up for March Together. If not, we've got some tablets out there to help you. I'll continue with this next week in the shield of faith in unity. Really, really important. All right? Have a good Sunday, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Let's continue to push back the flaming arrows of the evil one. Come on down. Let us pray for you under attack for protection in Jesus' name. Amen. See you next week.